Welcome everyone. Today we're going to master the Read an Academic Passage task by dissecting a fascinating text on animal history. We will move through the passage sentence by sentence to see how an author builds an argument, and then we'll apply logic to crush the multiple choice questions. Let's get started. If you want to keep improving your reading score, make sure to subscribe to myTOEFL for more deep dives into academic English. Let's keep learning together and reach your goals. The origins of the domestic dog. The title Origins of the Domestic Dog immediately signals that the text will explore the historical and biological roots of a familiar species. As a student, seeing the word origins should tell you to look for theories, timelines, and geographic data. The domestication of the gray wolf into the modern dog is one of the most significant biological events in human history. This sentence introduces the main topic by framing domestication as a significant biological event. It sets the stage for a discussion on how a wild species transformed into a human companion. While most domesticated animals were tamed during the agricultural revolution for food or labor, dogs were domesticated thousands of years earlier by hunter-gatherer societies. The author uses the transition wild to distinguish dogs from other animals, noting they were tamed by hunter-gatherer societies long before the farming era. This emphasizes that dog domestication is an outlier in history. Archaeological findings, such as canine remains buried alongside humans in ancient graves, suggest a deep and early bond between the two species. Here, the author provides evidence through archaeological findings, specifically canine remains buried alongside humans. This detail proves the deep and early bond was more than just functional, it was personal. This unique partnership provided humans with increased hunting efficiency and security, while wolves gained a steady food source and protection from larger predators. The sentence explains the unique partnership as a win-win scenario, where humans gained hunting efficiency and wolves received a steady food source. Notice the use of wild to balance the benefits for both species. Despite the long-standing relationship, the exact geographic origin of dog domestication remains a subject of intense scientific debate. The text shifts here with despite, moving from the benefits of the relationship to an intense scientific debate about where it began. This indicates that the following sentences will present conflicting views. Genetic studies comparing the DNA of modern dogs with that of ancient wolf remains have produced conflicting results. The author highlights that genetic studies have not settled the matter, as they have produced conflicting results. This academic vocabulary word conflicting is a great clue that no consensus has been reached. Some data suggest a single domestication event in East Asia, while other researchers point toward a dual origin in both Europe and Asia. This sentence details the conflict, contrasting a single domestication event in one area with a dual origin in two. The structure, while other researchers, is a classic way to present opposing theories. The lack of fossil evidence makes it difficult to pinpoint a specific time frame, as early domestic dogs looked remarkably similar to their wild ancestors. The lack of unambiguous fossil evidence is cited as the main hurdle. Because early domestic dogs look so much like wild ancestors, scientists can't easily tell them apart in the dirt. Scientists must rely on subtle changes in skull shape and teeth to distinguish between a wild wolf and a proto-dog. To solve the mystery, researchers must look for subtle changes in skull shape and teeth. This explains the technical difficulty of identifying a proto-dog in the archaeological record. One compelling theory suggests that dogs may have effectively domesticated themselves through a process of natural selection. Paragraph 3 introduces a compelling theory where dogs domesticated themselves. This natural selection process suggests that domestication wasn't always a conscious human choice. Wolves with lower levels of aggression and higher curiosity were likely more successful at scavenging near human campsites. The mechanism of this theory is lower levels of aggression, which made certain wolves more successful at scavenging. This explains how behavioral traits led to a closer proximity to humans. Over generations, these friendly wolves began to evolve physical and behavioral traits suitable for coexistence with humans, such as shorter muzzles and an increased ability to interpret human gestures. Over time, friendly wolves evolved shorter muzzles and the ability to interpret human gestures. These physical and behavioral adaptations were key to their coexistence with humans. The shift in temperament allowed for a gradual integration into human social groups, transforming a dangerous predator into a loyal companion. The shift in temperament was the catalyst for gradual integration, turning a dangerous predator into what we now know as a loyal companion. Ultimately, the story of the dog is not just about human intervention, but about a mutual adaptation that reshaped both species. The passage concludes by describing the process as a mutual adaptation rather than just human intervention. This emphasizes the shared evolutionary journey of both species. What is the passage mainly about? This is a main idea question, asking what is the passage mainly about? To answer this, we need an option that captures the history, the geographic debate, and the self-domestication theory. Now, keeping this in mind, let's evaluate our options. Let's take a closer look at option A. The specific methods used by ancient hunters to capture wild wolves. Option A focuses on specific methods to capture wild wolves, but the text actually suggests dogs might have domesticated themselves. This is too narrow and contradicts the natural selection theory mentioned later. Let's eliminate it. Now, let's examine option B. The physical differences between East Asian and European dogs. Option B mentions physical differences between regions. While the text mentions East Asian and European origins as a debate, it doesn't spend the whole passage comparing their physical traits. This is a detail, not the main idea. Here's option C. Let's break it down. The history and scientific theories regarding dog domestication. Option C covers both the history and the scientific theories regarding domestication. This matches our 3 paragraphs perfectly, touching on the archaeological findings and the self-domestication theory. Let's keep this one. Finally, let's look at option D. The dietary changes of wolves during the agricultural revolution. Option D discusses dietary changes during the agricultural revolution. However, the text explicitly states dogs were tamed thousands of years earlier than that era. This is factually incorrect based on the text. Eliminate it. The correct answer to this question is option C, since it is the only choice that encompasses the full scope of the passage's discussion on the history and various theories of dog origins. The word in paragraph 2 is closest in meaning to. This is a vocabulary in context question. We need to find the meaning of unambiguous by looking at the clue lack of fossil evidence. If a lack of this evidence makes it difficult to pinpoint a time frame, then unambiguous must mean something certain. Now, keeping this in mind, let's evaluate our options. Let's take a closer look at option A. Incomplete. Option A is incomplete. While fossils might be incomplete, unambiguous refers to the clarity of the evidence, not its physical wholeness. This doesn't fit the difficult to pinpoint context as well as another word might. Eliminate it. Now let's examine option B. Ancient. Option B is ancient. The fossils are certainly ancient, but the sentence is about the lack of a specific quality that makes dating hard. Saying there is a lack of ancient fossils wouldn't make sense here. Eliminate it. Here's option C. Let's break it down. Recent. And C is recent. This is the opposite of what we are looking for. We are discussing ancient wolf remains, so recent is logically out of place. Eliminate it. Finally, let's look at option D. Is TOEFL clear? Option D is clear. This is perfect. If evidence is unambiguous, it is clear and leaves no room for doubt. This explains why a lack of it would lead to an intense scientific debate. Keep it. Therefore, the correct answer is option D, because unambiguous is a synonym for clear in this context, describing evidence that is easy to interpret. Why does the author mention East Asia and Europe in paragraph 2? This question asks about the author's purpose. Why does the author mention East Asia and Europe? We need to look at the surrounding sentences to see what these locations represent. Now, keeping this in mind, let's evaluate our options. Let's take a closer look at option A, to show that genetic research has led to conflicting theories about origins. Option A says they show conflicting theories about origins. This matches paragraph 2 perfectly, which states genetic studies have produced conflicting results. East Asia and Europe are the examples of those conflicts. Keep it. Now, let's examine option B. To compare the hunting styles of hunter-gatherers in different continents. To affirm P as different. Option B suggests a comparison of hunting styles. While hunter-gatherer societies are mentioned in paragraph 1, paragraph 2 is strictly about geographic origins and DNA, not hunting techniques. Eliminate it. Here's option C. Let's break it down. To explain why modern dogs in those regions look so much like wolves. Option C claims it explains why dogs look so much like wolves. The text says dogs look like wolves everywhere, which made identification difficult, but it doesn't link this specifically to East Asia or Europe. Eliminate it. Eliminate. Finally, let's look at option D. To identify the only places where ancient wolf remains have been found. Option D says these are the only places where remains were found. The text never says only, it says some data suggest these areas, implying they are the subject of debate, not the exclusive sites. Eliminate it. The correct answer to this question is option A, since the mention of these regions serves to illustrate the conflicting results of genetic research mentioned earlier in the paragraph. Paragraph 3 mentions all of the following as parts of the self-domestication theory except. This is an except question. We must find the one statement that is not mentioned in paragraph 3 as part of the self-domestication theory. We need to verify each option against the text. Now, keeping this in mind, let's evaluate our options. Let's take a closer look at option A. A decrease in aggression levels among certain wolf populations. Option A mentions a decrease in aggression levels. This is explicitly stated in the text as lower levels of aggression. Since it is in the text, it is not our accept answer. Eliminate it. Now, let's examine option B. The evolution of traits like shorter muzzles for human coexistence. Option B refers to shorter muzzles. Paragraph 3 clearly lists shorter muzzles as a physical trait that evolved during this process. Since it is present in the text, we eliminate this option. Here's option C. Let's break it down. The increased ability of wolves to interpret human gestures. Option C mentions the ability to interpret human gestures. The text confirms this, noting an increased ability to interpret human gestures. Since this is in the passage, it is not the correct accept choice. Eliminate it. Finally, let's look at option D. The active capturing of wild wolf pups by early human farmers. Option D mentions active capturing by farmers. Paragraph 3 says dogs domesticated themselves near hunter-gatherer campsites from paragraph 1. The idea of farmers capturing them contradicts the self-domestication theory. Keep it. Therefore, the correct answer is option D, because the passage describes a natural process of natural selection rather than active capturing by humans. What is the relationship between paragraph 2 and paragraph 3? This question focuses on the relationship between two paragraphs. We must identify the primary function of paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. Paragraph 2 focuses on geographic origin and paragraph 3 on natural selection as a process. Now, keeping this in mind, let's evaluate our options. Let's take a closer look at option A. Paragraph 2 discusses the debate over location, while paragraph 3 discusses a possible method. Option A states paragraph 2 is about the debate over location and paragraph 3 is about a possible method. This is exactly what we found. Paragraph 2 discusses East Asia versus Europe, and paragraph 3 explains the method of self-domestication. Keep it. Now let's examine option B. Paragraph 2 defines a type of predator, and paragraph 3 defines a type of prey. Option B claims they define predator and prey. While the wolf is called a dangerous predator, the text never defines humans or dogs as prey. This completely misrepresents the content of the paragraphs. Eliminate it. Here's option C. Let's break it down. Paragraph 2 describes a physical problem, while paragraph 3 offers a biological solution. Option C describes a physical problem and a biological solution. While skull changes are subtle, they aren't described as a problem that domestication solved. This is a misleading interpretation of the text structure. Eliminate it. Finally, let's look at option D. Paragraph 3 provides evidence that the genetic studies in paragraph 2 are incorrect. Option D says paragraph 3 proves paragraph 2 incorrect. In reality, they discuss different things, location versus method. Paragraph 3 doesn't debunk the genetic studies, it just adds a different layer to the story. Eliminate it. The correct answer to this question is option A, since paragraph 2 outlines the debate regarding geographic location, while paragraph 3 describes the method of domestication via natural selection. Great job today! When tackling academic passages, always remember to differentiate between the where, location, and the how, method, of a scientific theory. Pay close attention to contrast words like despite or while, as they often signal the transition between different viewpoints. Keep practicing your anchor-based logic and you'll see your score soar.